victims might not have their day in court as Boy Scouts of America files for bankruptcy. And in sports, the Ohio men's basketball team returns to action at the Convo tonight against Central Michigan. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening and welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio. I'm Anna Azalian. Thanks for joining us. Today is the last day to register to vote ahead of the Ohio primary. The primary is March 17th, but early voting starts tomorrow. 8 presidential candidates will be on the Democratic ballot in Ohio, and Donald Trump is the only presidential candidate on the Republican ballot in Ohio. The director of the Athens County Board of Elections says everyone should take advantage of their right to vote.
I just want to invite everybody. This is an important year, a presidential, and please go register and vote. To me, it doesn't matter how you vote. I'm an election official, and I just want you to go vote.
Registration ends tonight at 9, and the Athens County Board of Election will be open until 9 to help you register. You can also register online at the website on your screen. It's olvr.ohiosos.gov. And over the next few months, if you see smoke coming from the Wayne National Forest, don't panic. Authorities for the National Forest say it's likely a prescribed burn. They say just like you and your pets need checkups at the doctor, prescribed burns are a good way to maintain the oak tree's health. The National Forest is planning to burn 2 areas in Athens County between now and May. You can now ride electronic scooters on the bricks of Athens and around Ohio University's campus. Today is the first day these 2-wheelers can be used in town. Newswatch reporter Alex Porter reports they haven't arrived without some concerns.
The company Spin has deployed 100 e-scooters around the city. The scooter's original launch date in November was pushed back because there weren't enough to go around. The scooters are intended to commuters within the city quicker and safer travel.
And with the new implementation of the scooters, some may be surprised that small businesses such as Brendan's Coffee right behind me may have a different effect from the result of the new vehicles.
Well, I'm going to work on the assumption that the scooters won't be allowed on the sidewalks. That I would be in favor of. Obviously, it'd be kind of dangerous. These sidewalks get so congested. If you had people on motorized scooters going up and down, you're going to have accidents.
Some might worry what the scooters could bring. Mayor Steve Patterson says the city thought long and hard before the approving of the scooters came to Athens.
I'm familiar with the struggles that there are in one, making sure these are, safely parked in locations that aren't going to impede anybody else being able to get through there, especially if someone is in a wheelchair or something along those lines, to where there's obstructions all over. So we're going to be watching that really closely in the city of Athens in terms of where these are parked, how they're parked.
Athens City Planner Paul Logue said that the permit for the vehicles is not exclusive. As for local businesses, it is hoped they'll bring more customers uptown.
I think it'll be interesting. I think it gives people the opportunity, especially if you're down on campus, if you can hop on a scooter and ride your way uptown, to get something to eat. That can only be a good thing.
The e-scooters cost $1 per ride with a 29-cent per minute charge. They can be rented with the Spin app. Now, Adlai, does it look like this rain will clear up later this week so we can try out these new scooters?
Hello, I'm forecaster Adlai Karwish here, and yes, it does. It will actually start to clear up for a bit. It will clear up for a while, actually. Right now, 47 degrees, humidity at 74%. It feels like 44 right now, so there isn't too much of a difference from what the temperature is outside to what it is right now. Winds turn from the northwest at 7 miles per hour, so it looks like a pretty good day outside. Taking a look right now at Athens, at the southeastern Ohio, Jackson at 46, Chillicothe at 43, Columbus at 43, New Lexington at 43, and Ripley at 50. So all around somewhere between the low 40s and even to 50 like Ripley, with mostly cloudy skies. Maybe you'll see some sun. Tonight, rain clearing up overnight, getting really cold. It's gonna get down to a low of just 25 degrees. Winds coming from the northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And Anna, it's going to be a cold night, but it's definitely going to be a lot drier, and we might actually see some sun for the next couple of days.
So it definitely seems like we're still having that kind of typical Ohio weather this time of year, kind of bouncing all around in the temperatures.
Yeah, it's all around. You get 40 some days, and then we're going to drop down to lows into teens later on.
Thanks, Adlai. And after her visit to Ohio's campus yesterday, Caitlin Bennett took to Twitter assuring she'll be back to Athens. Bennett tweeted she'll be returning to Ohio U's campus again, and next time she'll bring an army of gun owners for an open carry walk through campus. Ohio does support open carry laws, but OU has banned concealed carry of firearms on campus. Bennett gained notoriety in 2018 after posting graduation pictures showing her carrying an AR-15 at Kent State to support open carry policies. OU has not released a statement about Bennett's recent tweet. And a 12-year-old boy is dead following a shooting at a Columbus home. Columbus police say they're now treating Dimitri Gore's death as a homicide. They say at first their investigation pointed to unsafe handling of a loaded gun, but this changed after further investigation. The homicide sergeant told the Columbus Dispatch this doesn't mean the shooting was intentional or malicious. An Ohio man is accused of making online threats to shoot up a community in Illinois. Federal authorities say 22-year-old Ryan Gagnet prompted schools to go on lockdown and cancel outdoor recess after making a threat in an online chat where users are anonymous. Schools in Shorewood, Illinois have had to hire extra security due to the threat. Gagnet has been charged with a related count in federal court, His attorney has not responded for comment. In West Virginia, authorities are reminding the public it's illegal to enter the Capitol building with a gun. This comes after 3 Ohio men brought semi-automatic weapons to the West Virginia Capitol. Capitol Police cited the men after coming across them outside the building in Charleston. They say it's unclear whether the group had ill intent. And back in Ohio, bobcat sightings have been on the rise over the past decade. In 2014, the bobcat was removed from the list of endangered threatened species in Ohio. The Ohio Department of Natural Resources say they have nearly 500 verified reports. Nearly half of those were caught on camera or photographed by qualified wildlife personnel, and bobcat reports were recorded in almost 50 counties during 2017. And lawmakers in Kentucky are looking to limit the out-of-pocket costs for people who rely on insulin. Governor Andy Beshear and others introduced a bill to cut off costs at $100 per prescription for a 30-day supply of insulin. The bill has cleared a House committee and awaits action in the full House with nearly 500,000 Kentuckians diagnosed with diabetes. The limit would apply to people with commercial health insurance plans. Boy Scouts of America is filing for bankruptcy. What this means for victims of alleged sexual abuse during their lawsuits against the organizations. And Good Samaritans rescue a family from a car accident. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
Cats.
Cats lead fantastic double lives. They disappear for hours, and we don't know where they go.
How did they go from wild animal to furry friend?
We can use the mitochondrial clock to figure out their age in evolutionary time.
And can neuroscience explain why they're so irresistible?
These sounds are plugging straight into our emotions.
Cattails on Nova.
On expedition.
I've come to Bhutan. You just have no idea what's going to be around the next corner. To kayak a river that's never been paddled before.
It's a deep gorge. We don't know what's in there.
There's no doubt that this one is the one that scares me the most. Oh, I'm in big trouble. We've paddled into paradise. No one else will ever get to do that for the first time. There are still wild, exciting places out there left to explore.
From PBS, explore our culture through stories of food,
delicious,
family, and tradition. With a new season of No Passport Required.
Food's a path to culture, identity, and history.
And the premieres of Somewhere South.
I can smell that you've been cooking. This is delicious.
And Good Gumbo.
It's a secret recipe. I'm not going to pull it out of you. I know your mom would probably kill me, huh?
Discover what connects us all and so much more on PBS and the PBS Video app.
We badger people, ferret out the enemy, weasel out of things. Members of the weasel family are often portrayed as villains. But do they deserve this reputation? Now, with groundbreaking science.
It's as though you have an animal in liquid form.
And by following the wild stoat family, we'll step into the world of weasels.
Scouts of America in limbo after filing for bankruptcy. The filing puts hundreds of sexual abuse lawsuits against the organization on hold. So what does this mean for the victims? Daryl Forges breaks it all down for us.
Boy Scouts of America back in the spotlight. The organization filed for bankruptcy Tuesday in Delaware. In the filing, Boy Scouts of America reported between $1 billion to $10 billion in assets and an estimated $500 million to $1 billion in liabilities. This all comes as BSA faces hundreds of sexual abuse lawsuits involving thousands of alleged abuse victims. The 110-year-old organization responded saying they care deeply about all victims of child abuse and sincerely apologize to anyone who was harmed during their time in scouting, adding they were outraged that there have been times when individuals took advantage of our program to abuse innocent children. In an open letter to victims, the Boy Scouts of America says the organization entered bankruptcy in order to compensate victims.
The tragedy is catastrophic.
This also means victims will not have their day in court and instead will have to go through a bankruptcy court in order to file a claim.
We will have to establish some sort of compensation structure that allows for these victims to receive some sort of justice.
As for victims that have not come forward against Boy Scouts of America, time is limited. The letter from BSA goes on to say, quote, "I encourage you and all victims to come forward and file claims so you can receive compensation from this trust. We will provide clear notices about how to do so." In Atlanta, I'm Daryl Forges reporting.
As this story continues, we'll update you right here on Newswatch. Georgia law enforcement authorities upped the ante in the search for a missing Fort Valley State University student. On Monday, they sent up a helicopter to look for 23-year-old Anitra Gunn. She was last seen Friday morning. Her family filed an official missing persons report Saturday. Gunn's car was found in Fort Valley with her wallet inside, and her father says the front bumper of the car had been torn off. Her phone has been located as well, but there's been no sign of Anitra.
It's hurting so much to know that, we haven't heard from her because that's totally not like her. She talks to all her family at all times.
And my daughter's about the same age. I empathize with him and I understand completely how he must be feeling at this time.
Officials say Anitra Gunn has black hair and brown eyes, is 5 feet 7 inches tall, and weighs about 165 pounds. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Fort Valley, Georgia Police Department. And in South Carolina, Good Samaritans helped rescue a family of 5 after their SUV plunged off a bridge on Sunday. The accident was caught on a dash camera. Patrick Lloyd has this report.
It went parallel to the bridge and then it hit the edge of a cliff and it jumped. I saw its brake lights and then it just disappeared in a huge splash of water.
Thomas Fee describes the moment a vehicle plunged into the water of the Little PD River in Gallivan's Ferry on Sunday. It was all caught on his dash cam. As soon as Fee saw what happened, he and 2 other men rushed over to help.
We went down into the water and we formed a bridge and helped them get the kids across up to the shore.
Fee says the water was extremely cold, but that didn't stop him from jumping in. Fee says there were 5 people in the car and a puppy. 3 of the people inside were kids. One of them, just a baby.
By the time I got there, I didn't think anybody was going to live.
Fee says the people inside the car were shaken up.
The father was very frantic, of course, so I can understand that, and who was just really trying to get his kids over to the shore.
When Fee saw the baby in the vehicle, he says the urgency level immediately went up because he has a granddaughter around the same age.
It really kind of hit home, and when I drove back through town on the way back through, I just wanted to stop and see my own grandkids. It was hard to imagine what they were thinking.
He was doing what we always knew he would.
Fee's son Lawrence says his father's actions were nothing shy of heroic, and it doesn't come as a shock to him that he stepped up the way he did.
He's always wanted to help people, and he's always wanted to be there for people when they need someone most.
But Fee doesn't want to soak in the limelight. In fact, he was reluctant to go on camera. He instead said the other 2 men who helped did a lot more than he did, and despite what some might say, this humble Good Samaritan says he's far from a hero.
No, I'm just a person. That's what everybody would do.
The father and 4 kids were taken to the hospital to get checked out. All of them, including the puppy, survived the crash. Is your sugar craving getting out of control? You may need to get your sleep schedule under control. That story's still ahead.
And the rain is gone for now, but coming up next, we'll see if the rain continues. Next on Newswatch.
If you knew in your heart that someone took your child's life, how far would you go to get to the truth?
Law enforcement did not do their job.
She told state investigators the belts used to fashion the noose did not belong to Lennon.
They tell my mom it was suicide. Honestly, it looked like a back-in-the-day lynching.
That isn't ancient history.
Why are we so afraid of the truth?
I deserve to know, and I have the right to know.
Always in season.
I'm Jeff Bezos.
What is your claim to fame?
I'm the founder of Amazon.com.
Is Amazon taking over the world a good thing?
What Jeff Bezos is after is a company that is the infrastructure, that owns the infrastructure, and that's an incredibly powerful place to be.
People are asking if Amazon is a monopoly.
How did you and Jeff think about the call to break you guys up?
Simply because the company's been successful doesn't mean it's somehow too big.
Cats.
Cats lead fantastic double lives. They disappear for hours, and we don't know where they go.
How did they go from wild animal to furry friend?
We can use the mitochondrial clock to figure out their age in evolutionary time.
And can neuroscience explain why they're so irresistible?
These sounds are plugging straight into our emotions.
Cattails on Nova.
This month in Passport, your on-demand library of the best of PBS.
How do you split up nicely from a girlfriend?
We should talk about life.
All of our ceremonies illustrate connectedness with all of creation.
These and other shows are available with Passport. Go to pbs.org/getpassport and find out how you can start streaming today.
Hello, I'm forecaster Adlai Carwish, and welcome back to Newswatch. Right now in Athens, it is 47 degrees with humidity at 74%. There might be a drizzle or two in some locations throughout the area. It feels like 44, so it's not too much of a discrepancy. Winds coming from the northwest at around 7 miles per hour. We're going to take a look right now at all around southeastern Ohio here. Chillicothe at 43, New Lexington at 43, and Columbus at 43 as well. You're going to see Jackson at 46 and Ripley at 50. So all around somewhere between the low 40s, even up to 50, like places in Ripley. We're going to take a look right now at the U.S. temp map. You can see we're mostly in the green area here, but you're going to see that cold air just start to move down as we're going to see later on. This cold front is going to move through, which is causing the rain and will give us colder temperatures. We're going to take a look right now at the temperature for tonight. We're going to see 42 degrees. There's still going to be a slight chance of rain by 8 p.m., but by midnight, it's going to be 35 degrees, mostly cloudy. The rain should be gone. And by 4 a.m., it's going to be 29 degrees, and things actually start to clear up. You might get a chance to get a look at the moon there. Taking a look at tonight, 25 degrees. Rain should be clearing overnight. It's going to get really cold down to 25 degrees. So if you do plan on going out later tonight and even early morning tomorrow, be sure to bring that coat. Winds coming from the north-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Southeastern Ohio tonight, 24 degrees in Columbus, 26 in Chillicothe, 24 in New Lexington, and 28 in Ripley. So all around in the 20s throughout the southeastern area of Ohio. Tomorrow, 42 degrees. It's going to be a cool, sunny day. A few passing clouds, but it should be mostly a sunny day. So get a chance to soak up that sun. Winds coming from the north-northwest at 0 to 5 miles per hour. Taking a look tomorrow at southeastern Ohio, Chillicothe at 39, Ripley at 44, New Lexington at 39, and Columbus at 37. And it's going to be mostly a sunny day with Columbus at 37 all the way down to Ripley at 44. So not too bad of a day. Taking a look at the precip maps for tonight, you're going to see that cold front that moved through that data. So all the rain is going to move through past Virginia into North Carolina. And you're going to see by tomorrow, it's going to be completely empty and clear through all this area. You see that low pressure system, that's going to move through. It's going to be mostly clear for the next couple of days as we do take a look at your 7-day outlook here. And you're going to see it's going to be quite a beautiful week. It's going to be a little bit colder with just 42 degrees and 31 on Thursday, 38 on Friday, and the weekend's actually going to be looking quite nice with 48 and 50 degrees on Sunday with not too much rain, but 44 on Monday with that's when the rain starts to come back with just a 50% chance of rain. But you're going to see those lows coming there too with those 14 and 19. And Anna, I'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Adlai. Now, if you find yourself overeating, you might want to think about how much quality sleep you're getting. The two things could be linked. Meredith Wood has more on the possible connection in today's Health Minute.
A good night's sleep does the body good, and it can also make sure you put good into your body. According to research published in the Journal of the American Heart Association, people who aren't getting good sleep tend to eat too much sugar and other unhealthy foods. The study looked at nearly 500 women between the ages of 20 and 76 who self-reported their sleep and eating habits for a year. The study found over a third of the women had poor sleep or some level of insomnia. Those women reported eating an additional 500 to 800 calories per day on average, and they ate more than the recommended amounts of saturated fats, added sugars, and caffeine. They also fell below the recommended intake of whole grains and fiber. The study suggests one reason for the connection between sleep and eating is that when we are sleep deprived, our hormones stimulate hunger. Insomnia can also trigger the parts of your brain that make it harder for you to control cravings and rash decisions. So be sure to make sleep a priority. Turn your gadgets off at least 20 minutes before bedtime, make sure your room is dark and cool, and don't eat large amounts of food before bed, making your gut uncomfortable. For today's Health Minute, I'm Meredith Wood.
Good evening, everybody. Coming up in sports, something we've gotten used to on Tuesdays, an Ohio women's basketball player being named Player of the Week. Find out who later on. Also, the Ohio men's basketball team looks to rebound after a loss at Kent State tonight in Athens against Central Michigan. A preview of the matchup is up next on Newswatch.
I'm Jeff Bezos.
What is your claim to fame?
I'm the founder of Amazon.com.
Is Amazon taking over the world a good thing?
What Jeff Bezos is after is a company that is the infrastructure, that owns the infrastructure, and that's an incredibly powerful place to be.
People are asking if Amazon is a monopoly.
How did you and Jeff think about the call to break you guys up?
Simply because the company's been successful doesn't mean it's somehow too big.
If you knew in your heart that someone took your child's life, how far would you go to get to the truth?
Law enforcement did not do their job.
She told state investigators the belts used to fashion the noose did not belong to Lennon.
They tell my mom it was suicide. Honestly, it looked like a back-in-the-day lynching.
That isn't ancient history.
Why are we so afraid of the truth?
I deserve to know, and I have the right to know.
Always in season.
The framers would not recognize the federal government we have today.
We live in the age of regulation. His reaction was, well, if you've got nothing to hide, what's the problem?
Shut it down! There are literally forbidden thoughts. This is tragic.
It's we the people ceding our rights to the government. So gradually we don't even know it's happening. You'd be surprised at how much danger our Constitution is in.
Cats.
Cats lead fantastic double lives. They disappear for hours, and we don't know where they go.
How did they go from wild animal to furry friend?
We can use the mitochondrial clock to figure out their age in evolutionary time.
And can neuroscience explain why they're so irresistible?
These sounds are plugging straight into our emotions.
Cattails on Nova.
Welcome back, I'm Brian Kerp. Last night at the Daytona 500, there was a gruesome wreck involving driver Ryan Newman. As the drivers were coming down the home stretch, Newman's car crashed into the wall, flipped over several times, and crossed the finish line upside down. Newman was immediately taken to a local hospital. Doctors say that his injuries are not life-threatening. The Ohio men's basketball team returns to the convo tonight and will tip off against the Central Michigan Chippewas at the top of the hour. The Bobcats are coming off an 87-72 loss at Kent State on Saturday to fall to 4-8 in conference play. Central Michigan is also looking to rebound after falling to Akron on Saturday. Currently, the Chippewas are 6-5 in MAC play and have the MAC's all-time three-point leader in David DeLeo. At this point of the season, every game is crucial for the Bobcats as the MAC tournament inches closer and closer. Entering tonight, Ohio is 5th in the East Division standings and 8th in the conference standings. So if the season ended today, Ohio would be hosting a first-round game at the Convo, but there is still some basketball to play. 5 of Ohio's next 6 games are against teams that are ahead of them in the conference standings. 3 will be played at home.
You know, the league is very, I mean, there's so much parity. It's any night you could probably beat anybody. Yeah, I mean, you even look at Bowling Green, they're I think 9-3, and you know, going into the, I don't know what they are now, but they're 8-3 and they had a negative margin of victory. You know, I mean, that's unheard of. And you know, you got to win your close games, and you know, it's a fine line. We've talked about winning and losing, but I think for us, like everyone else, you're playing for a seed right now, whether it's a 1 through whatever.
Well, it seems like every Tuesday we talk about an Ohio women's basketball player being named MAC East Player of the Week. This week, it's Erica Johnson. Johnson has been an offensive powerhouse through conference play. For the Bobcats, on Saturday, she flirted with a triple-double, 23 points, 9 assists, and 8 rebounds. Johnson has scored 20 or more points in each of her past 4 games and in 9 of her last 12 conference games.
I'm just playing with confidence, bringing what my teammates need from me every day, and just staying locked in throughout the whole entire game.
Yeah. OHSAA boys playoffs are set to tip off tonight, and WOUB's Hardwood Heroes will be at local teams game to see if they win or go home. In Division III, the number 7 Alexander Spartans tipped off just a half hour ago against Rock Hill at Jackson High School. Also in Division III, the Nelsonville York Buckeyes are also currently in action in Waverly against North Adams. Lastly, at 8 o'clock in Division II, Athens seeks revenge on Marietta after a loss in the regular season. For coverage of all 3 of these games, go to woub.org/heroes. You know, Anna, it's exciting to see this playoff time. You know, I'm looking forward to see how many of these teams could just keep winning and making it to the Convo.
Yeah, and Brian, who do you think has the best shot to make it to the Convo?
You know, Alexander's the 7th seed, and they'll be the highest seed in their first 2 rounds of playoffs. I could see them making it to the Convo pretty easily, but you know, in the playoffs, anything could happen.
Sure. Thanks, Brian. And check this out. A bird that can't fly has become best buds with an unlikely 4-legged animal, and it really is the cutest thing. Herman the pigeon suffered neurological damage more than a year ago, and this means he can no longer fly. A New York nonprofit took him in and introduced him to a Chihuahua puppy named Lundy, and they quickly hit it off. They started cuddling almost immediately, just like you see in the video here. And the owner of the nonprofit says she was blown away. She posted photos of the pair on social media, and the foundation raised $6,000 in 2 days. But she doesn't know if Herman and Lundy will be able to stay together. The Chihuahua Lundy may already have a new home lined up, but she doesn't know if the owner will adopt Herman too. I hope that owner does adopt them both, but first, Adley, let's take a look at.
All right, well, looking at tonight, 25 degrees, rain lifting early overnight. It's going to get really cold, winds coming from the north-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour, so it's going to be really cold tonight. Be sure you do have your heavy coat. Taking a look at your 7-day outlook here. 42 on Wednesday, looking pretty good. Thursday and Friday looking pretty good as well, but the weekend looking so nice. It's going to be nice and sunny, maybe just a few clouds, but the rain starts to come up towards the end of the week. Anna, I'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Adley. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Anna Azalian. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news, sports, and weather all at woub.org. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.
What's up, Hardwood fans? I'm your host, Sam Wiesneth, here with my co-host, T. Willis. T, what's going on with the high school basketball world this week?
Sam, the word of the week is playoffs. The girls are rolling full steam ahead into week 2 of the playoffs.